Welcome to the TNC Random Fandom Podcast. We are here to have fun and talk all things pop culture, collecting, and nerd culture in general. Make sure you join the conversation during our live stream with our most excellent hosts, Craig Borden and Tommy Mock. Let the shenanigans begin.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the TNC Random Fandom Podcast. I'm your host, Craig Borden. Tommy will be here in just a few moments, hopefully. So the other part of this TNC equation will be once again back together. But I have two amazing guests from me to join Aaron today this evening. I have my friends from the Yankee Clipper. Would you both be so nice to introduce yourselves and just see what we can get into today?
I am Jason.
And I am Emily.
Yeah, and both of you currently work at the Yankee Clipper House of Cards and Toys, basically, right here in Rochester, New York, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm technically the owner, and he can be considered my gopher.
So you're the one that gets all the wonderful, tasks, I'll say, from Emily then.
Oh, yeah, we get some humdingers sometime every once in a while, but compared to what I do for a living, oh no, this is it's kind of the store's kind of become my personal sanctuary, so I don't mind.
Yeah, to that point, being in the store, I know what you mean. At least there's something that can at least get you out of your mindset, no matter which way you guys look in that wonderful collection you all have in there all the time. So, what's some of the funner things that you've seen of late, I guess, is to start off the goof around here?
Um,
And Emily, last time I stopped by, you happened to be going through baseball cards.
Yeah, I did. I haven't gotten a lot lately. I did get some 70s baseball cards in recently that I went through. Some I was able to price. Most of them I put in like a 10-cent box because I've come to find that it seems like with the 70s stuff, if it's not somebody of real note and it's not worth more than, if it's worth more than just a couple dollars, people are going to buy it a lot better if you put it in a 10-cent box. Like I had that one out today at the show that I did, and then also I went through some of the ones that were priced that I had in the showcase, and I put those on sale for 10 cents. And that specific table of mine, people were not leaving almost all day. They were looking through that, and then they were looking through newer like football cards and some 10-cent baseball cards. So the cheaper vintage stuff definitely gets people's attention.
Well, and that's where my collecting at the moment, at least with my baseball cards, is gone. Like I said, before the show, I was sorting out some of the top Series 1 that I have here, but the only reason we ripped into that was because I had two friends up in Toronto that I was visiting a couple weeks ago. They had never ripped open baseball cards, and I'm like, you guys are two of the biggest baseball fans I know, and I'm just going to blame it on the fact that they're both lawyers. And it's like you would never know that from walking up to them. They still have souls. I know that's really weird to hear in these days.
Yeah.
But so knowing this from a previous trip, goofing around with them up there, I'm like, okay, we're gonna go to the night game. We're going to go to the bar inevitably and goof around afterwards because it was an evening game on a Friday. So I brought 2 boxes of Top Series 1 for the 4 of us to rip through, and we just sat there, drank more pizza, or drank and eat pizza and ripped open cards and all that kind of goofy stuff. Our bartender looked oddly like Paul Skeens, so we gifted him a Paul Skeens card.
That's funny.
And then he ended up being a Pirates fan, so it was like,
oh wow,
couldn't win that one.
That's perfect.
So,
yeah.
Well, Emily's more the baseball fan. I'm more the football fan. So throw out some regular baseball guy names. I'm going to like, okay, that's cool.
I know who Paul Skeens.
You've heard of the Paul Skeens. Yeah. So, but on that note, you were obviously at a card show today, repping your brand, trying to get some more people to, obviously trade and sell your cards and whatnot. But I'm sure trying to get people to come into the store just as much. And you were in Rochester today, walking around or wandering around?
Yeah, so it was at the Jewish Community Center in Edgewood. It's a once a month card show. It goes from 10 to 2. I've missed a couple this year, but for the most part, I've done pretty much every single one. Because my dad started doing shows with the gentleman who runs it when he had them in Webster, and then they sold that building for more medical stuff, and he took it out to the Moose Lodge in Chilai, and then eventually we had to leave there, and now we're at the JCC, which I think it's a pretty good location, minus how hot it was in there today. But other than that, it hasn't been bad.
The weather could figure out what the heck it wanted to do today. That would be the other catch.
It feels like early October. Me personally, I'm down with that, but I know folks, in the middle of May want to get outdoors and start thinking about opening up pools and things. And today just wasn't one of
Going
those
to
days.
baseball games and not freezing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, it's all barely 60 degrees out to the high today. Now, as I told you both, I was at a card show today too. I went to Albany to visit my brother and his children, and I ended up, wandering around the card show more with them and not paying too much attention to my own personal collecting. But I did come across the one card that I was telling you about before the show, and that is the infamous Billy Ripken F-face card.
And we definitely need this in the shop, yes. Just because of the WTF factor alone, it needs to be there.
And to that point, Billy Ripken is an announcer on a Major League Baseball network to this day. Obviously
cool.
Brother of Cal Ripken, so he's a known player out there at the end of the day too. Not the greatest actual baseball players, but that card is going to live on in the hobby infamously until the end of time.
That's
because
probably
the story
why he's
that
so
if anybody
well
is listening, if anybody listening hasn't heard this baseball card story, Billy Ripken, Cal Ripken's brother, had just made it or was about to make the team. So it was his first Major League Baseball card in 1989 in the Fleer set. So the story goes that somebody threw him the bat and wrote it as a dumb rookie prank on the knob of the bat. So he's holding the bat like this, facing the cameraman, and he takes a picture, and it's as clear as day. It just says face on it. But Cal Ripken, his brother, obviously has thrown him under the bus a little bit over the years. And he goes, "Oh, Billy did that. He wanted to see if the cameraman would know it."
I didn't paying attention. Oh, yeah. Thanks, bro.
But this card made out the mass circulation, and Emily, I think you were saying that the other two variants of this card that after the Topps people caught this are actually just as rare as the one that blatantly says F face on it.
Yeah, I think it's the one I know for the raw one, the ones that are worth more, it's either the whited out one or the blacked out one, but I can't remember. But one of those is actually worth more than the F face one.
Yeah, they went like full Simpsons nudity level with a sensor bar over the bottom of the bar.
Yeah, I think at one time we've had one of each at the store at one point. Don't have any right now, but yeah, we've definitely had at least one of each at some point during the time at the store.
You had
it's been around for 41 years. So.
Yeah. When I was in the store last time chatting with you, you actually had another famous Ripken card in your collection there. You had the Red Wing one, I think, believe it or not, in your case when I was there the last time. So there's a piece of Rochester with Cal Ripken, him playing here as long as he did.
Yeah, and actually that set was also made in black and white, and the black and white one's even harder to find and worth a lot more.
Wow. I just love the fact that it's not really a Topps card. It's like the one you would buy at the team shop back at Silver Stadium. There's a piece of Rochester Americana basically that you would never find anywhere else. And sure enough, they make it around, it seems like.
Yeah, you can still find older Red Wing stuff in the area.
So as far as all the, that's baseball cards, that's obviously a big part of your shop and everything has always been. And I'm assuming that's a good chunk of where the name came from, being associated with the Yankees.
Yeah. So my dad, when he started out, he was always a Yankee fan. So of course, I was a Yankee fan, but he named the store after Joe DiMaggio because he was nicknamed the Yankee Clipper. So
Joe DiMaggio.
Yeah. So he really liked him. I don't know if that probably was his favorite. I'm not 100% positive because he liked baseball in general and loved meeting these guys. But he had, I think it was Rizzuto came to the store once, I think in 87, the year my sister was born. And he saw the name and he asked my dad, "Does Joe know about this?" And my dad was like, "Am I in trouble?" And Phil, the guy starts laughing. He's like, "No, Joe." It's like Joe would have loved this.
Yeah. That's too perfect. Great year, by the way, 1987. That's the year my brother was born too.
Oh, nice.
That's the year my sister was born.
But so as a person that's coming to the store, I'll say casually with the toy shows and everything like that, and coming in and visiting the two of you, especially now that you two are the sole proprietors of the machine or the store and everything. You have some really cool stuff that comes into that store, whether it's Star Wars, baseball cards. We were even goofing around with Rick and Morty stuff before the show and whatnot. You always seem to find some fun things that you have in the shop. Is there something that's come over the years that is like, oh my God, that's mine, and I have to just bring it home myself, that you've just found its way from one place to another collection?
So recently that did happen for me. I had bought in a couple boxes of the 80s and 90s, the junk era we call it. And I didn't look through it, but I looked through it enough because I saw no vintage cards. Because I try to look enough where if I see a year, make sure I'll, specific rookie years, but I saw no vintage. So I'm like, I offered the guy $30 for what he had. He was fine with it. My best friend Will, who doesn't really collect baseball anymore, he likes it somewhat but doesn't collect it, happened to decide to go through this box of baseball. Well, I'm very glad he did because he found a Yogi Berra rookie in it.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
It's the first time hearing this. Wow.
One for a while. I mean, the back was messed up, and I'm like, I don't care. And it was funny because there was a guy in the store. He's like, "Can I look at it?" I'm like, "You can look at it, but it's not for sale." So that's like, I'm like, wow, I got like a Yogi Berra rookie for $30.
Oh my God. Like you said, even if it's beaten up or whatever, that's the thing that kills me about some of the grading stuff these days and everything. It's like, okay, well, moonlighting and helping out at the Hobby down the street, they had a 1933 Babe Ruth Gowdy baseball bubblegum card.
Wow.
And it was only graded a 1.5. And I'm still sitting here going, I don't care. The front of it looked great. The only reason it was a 1.5 is there was like barely any corners left. The whole flip side of the card was literally a gum stain.
Yeah. Who cares? I'll take that card.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's Babe Ruth. I mean, come on.
Exactly. And not to mention, I think that's technically his first baseball card because they didn't make
That
baseball cards
that
back
piece
then.
of cardboard's over 100 years old.
Exactly.
When my dad was still alive, we actually had a cooler card come in. I don't know if he realized. I don't think he realized exactly what it was at the time. Like that was a rookie card. But this older couple came in. I think somebody sent them to us, and they had all old cards, tobacco cards, pretty old, like oh my gosh, boxing cards. I think there's probably some like 30s, 40s, 50s cards, and he ended up buying it all from them. And he had my best friend Will look up this card because it was Shoeless Joe Jackson. Well, come to find out, it was his rookie card. Yeah, it was his rookie card. So
oh my God.
We haven't done anything about making sure it's real. I mean, I'm pretty sure it is because literally all these cards were all vintage. There's been no issues. I did have somebody I know pretty well look at it, and he knows vintage really well. In his opinion, he thinks it's real. And the even better part is, so you know how Cooperstown has 2 Honus Wagner cards? Well, after we got this card, we had went either that year or the year after to Cooperstown. We looked at their baseball card collection. They don't have one.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Maybe you should be calling them and seeing what I'm just kidding. Oh, that's too funny, but that's awesome. And I don't know. Oh, hey, we got another person. Tommy there. Hey.
Okay. Now it's perfect. Now
Just
everything's
gonna
good.
squeeze you. So, but that's really cool.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Tommy joined the party.
Sorry
but that's
about
really
that.
cool that you got that
No problem, man.
Shoeless Joe Jackson baseball card that's in your possession that you get to just first off figuring out is just as much fun. Is it real? How old is it? What's it worth? All those kind of things. You've got a piece of history there possibly that could be just amazing to even own, let alone get to have all this fun finding out what's going on with it.
Yeah.
So but it's amazing where the hobby has went because now you have all that wonderful stuff like you mentioned. You mentioned the junk wax era. Basically, my whole entirety of collecting any kind of sports cards has been 1,000% everything junk wax. One of my friends actually runs that Mint Universe cases. It's a brand new thing he's trying to do to shake up the grading market. And they bought he said he spent way too much money on it, but they bought a case of 1989 Upper Deck. So
Wow.
it's like, what, 40 boxes of something like that, I think, in a case or something like that.
Wow.
Him and his
Kinda
friends have
close
been
to that.
ripping that whole thing for a whole afternoon, drinking beer, eating hot dogs, ripping through it, trying to count how many Randy Johnson cards, how many Gary Sheffields, how many John Smoltz, and obviously how many Ken Griffey Juniors they find. Those were the four main rookies in that 1989 Upper Deck set. And he's actually going to be giving away every card from that set in anybody that buys one of his brand new cases. So
Oh, nice.
I thought that was the wild thing. I'm like, Brian, you're doing what? Like, and they actually pulled the what I'll call the first case hit card in that whole thing, which was a autographed Ken Griffey Jr. and Mickey Mantle card with a picture of the two of them on it.
Wow.
So they found one of them in that case. And I
Wow.
couldn't believe it when he was showing that off. He
That's
had on the
awesome.
online the other day. He's gonna be on my other baseball podcast in a couple of weeks, and I'm hoping he gets a chance to show it off.
That would be nice.
So is that Yogi Berra card your favorite random find of all time then? At that point, I would think that or that Shoeless Joe Jackson got to be close.
Yeah, probably, because there hasn't really been many random finds. I mean, there's been like stuff that like collections of old cards my dad got in. Like he got a good deal on this one collection, so there was a Whitey Ford rookie in there that like had a chunk missing out of it, some other issues, and he let me have it for like $8. So like there's been times where I've been able to get stuff cheaper because of condition, or he got a good deal on it, or even like my mom had bought me some cards, or a friend of mine gave me for free Derek Jeter SP rookie. Like it's scratched.
There would be a junk wax pinnacle right there.
Yes. It's scratched on the front, but I don't care. I'm like, this is probably the only way I was ever going to get it. And then actually, I think it was a couple Christmases ago, another friend of mine gave me another one. So I actually have two. Yeah.
Well played. That was a cool set to begin with. And then Jeter obviously being the crown achievement, like the Griffey I was talking about a minute ago.
Yeah.
So that's really cool.
Yeah, and he's my favorite player, so.
Yeah. But just to say the Yogiisms, because I can say it now on a collecting podcast here, if you see a fork in the road, make sure you take it.
Yep.
Which way do you go, left or right?
Exactly. No, you just take the fork. You're all set.
I will always love his Affleck commercial. That was awesome.
I don't know if I know that one.
Affleck.
Yeah, he's pretty much.
I know Affleck.
He's pretty much like, it's kind of doing like maybe different Yogiisms, but like he's really making the duck go crazy because he's like, they give you cash, which is just as good as money. And I can't remember the other ones, but by the end of it, the duck's just like so frustrated, like walks out the door and just like, oh, it's funny.
So it's like Yogi getting pissed off at a umpire and running off, huh?
Yeah.
Good deal.
Pretty much.
So as far as other things that you're passionate about, obviously the store and everything is a wonderful little vice for you all to get out of the everyday world and be able to jump into cards collecting and whatever it might be. We talked about a few silly things beforehand, like Rick and Morty and the Hellfire Club poster behind you and everything like that for the Stranger Things. What are I'll just say your main fandom things that you're into outside of like baseball cards?
My main fandom probably would be Wizard of Oz. Because I don't remember.
We haven't talked too much on this show.
Yeah, I don't remember how old I was or why I fell in love with it, but I remember loving the Wizard of Oz for so long, and just it seemed like I could never find like collectibles for it. Like here and there, I'd find them. I found them a lot more, but I was able to a couple of years ago go to the Wizard of Oz Festival in Chittenango, New York, which is actually where L. Frank Baum was born.
What happened?
And the house he actually was born in is still there. But that was, that was a lot of fun. They actually have in town, they actually have a yellow brick road they made. So I was like all excited walking on that. I'm like, oh, yay.
There you go. But that's the whole point. That Tommy's gone into massive rants, I'll say, but rightfully so, about him being a monster Star Wars fan and what he's gotten to see down at Disney World with all the fun that they've done with Galaxy's Edge and everything. So same kind of idea as far as you got your Wizard of Oz moment by being able to go somewhere where you can actually interact with it, not just see it through the TV at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So let me expand on that real quick. So your love of the Wizard of Oz, does that also transcend to some of the other movies like Return to Oz and even Wicked, the musical? Do you consider that as part of the lore, or do you just strictly just Wizard of Oz, Dorothy Gale? That's all I want.
So I do love the Return to Oz movie. Wicked,
Gave
I
me
probably
nightmares,
shouldn't
by the
say,
way.
but I haven't seen it. But I have seen I like The Wiz, and then I actually have a couple other copies. I haven't actually watched them, but I have the Muppets for the Wizard of Oz, and I have a couple other cartoon Wizard of Oz things, and I think there might have been a Tom and Jerry Wizard of Oz. So I'm pretty much I'm open to watching anything. The Wiz or the Wicked I still have to watch, and I actually still have to watch the Oz the Great and Powerful. I haven't watched those yet, but it's definitely something I need to. But yeah, no, I used to only collect stuff from the movie, but I've been collecting stuff from the movie, and then also just stuff that has to do with the books, because I would love to someday own each book, but first editions, which is going to be almost impossible because they're freaking expensive.
They're probably over 100 years old too at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Early 1900s.
You had to find a few extra Yogi Berras for that one, I think.
Yeah. Or a Mantle Rookie or something.
Yeah, exactly. So, but that's really cool. But yeah, Tommy, you went right where I was thinking too. But Jason, how about you? What drives you?
What's my IQ? Oh boy.
No.
What drives you?
I don't know, man. I'm trying to figure that one out myself. I just turned 49 and I'm like, yeah. Well,
Scratched a little too much.
And most things I consider myself more of a tourist than a diehard gotta have this kind of a thing. So my collections are a little bit of all sorts of stuff. Somewhere I got a Star Trek, got a Star Trek communicating device, and I recently then turned around and acquired, you gotta have the Darth Vader head. Gotta have that.
Dr. Tommy.
I have mine.
I mean, it's got to be a thing, right? Recently, Emily has gotten me kind of deep down the rabbit hole that Supernatural, the TV show, is. Mm-hmm. So much to a point that I literally have cutouts of both Dean and Sam Winchester sitting behind my TV currently, judging me as I'm talking to you. So, yeah.
That could be a long fandom for you to dive down that rabbit hole.
It was on, the rabbit hole. Oh my God, yes. Well, I started watching the show on Netflix. When it hit Netflix, I want to say in 2019, but given my short attention span, probably watched the first 3 episodes and, oh, look, new shiny, and never got back to it. Until we started hanging out, like, oh, you got to see this stuff. I'm like, oh, okay. And then, well, man, now we're 9 seasons in. Oh, boy.
Man,
so, yeah, I have a... Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, last year, we were able to go to Steel City Con, and I actually got to meet Jared Padalecki.
Oh, that's... She when she saw this came up on as an advertisement on Facebook. How they try to force feed you advertisements now.
Yep. Yeah.
Never.
She called me up and said, "We're going. I don't care if you quit your job. We're going." I'm like,
"No, what? That would be Jensen Ackles."
Oh no. Oh,
I'm a Dean girl all day long, forever. If I get to meet him, I'm gonna fangirl so bad.
Now, on the side note, while she was having fun with Jared, exactly. I was having fun with Weird Al Yankovic.
There you go.
Oh my God, and that was the same, and that's one of the nicest celebrities you're ever going to meet. And the cost to meet him and get his autograph is a little high, but you get the whole fan experience. Kind of going on. It's not a 30 seconds. Oh, hey, nice to meet you. Okay, go away. And I was like, hey, let's just hang out here. What are you doing? Taking 20 million pictures of you hanging out with this guy. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. I'll see if he ever comes back to Rochester. I will see if I can hook you up. I have some friends that are in the 501st Legion Star Wars stuff here in town, and they
I think I know who those.
And of course, I was in Toronto, of course, the weekend that he called me, and he goes, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm not in town." He goes, "Oh, you suck. I have a stormtrooper. I need you to fill." And I'm
You know
like, what
what?
do you mean? What do you
Wow.
need me to fill? I'm like,
I've
just
been
because I'm not as big as you are you saying you need a bigger person or what? What do you
well,
want?
maybe you just don't
And
you shoot straight. I mean, if you don't shoot straight, then maybe you're perfect. You know,
there's
I
the
You're a
mean,
problem.
little
just
short for a
imagine
Somebody
stormtrooper.
else.
as a
Yeah.
side note, side
Yeah, he's a
rant.
little short for a stormtrooper.
Yeah. As a side note,
So, but
imagine
he
who would win
called
in
me
a
because
fight.
they
Two
do
guys
the
and I'm sorry. Oh wow, there's that.
yeah.
Yeah. Imagine in a fight, two guys wearing two red shirt Star Trek security guards versus two stormtroopers. Who wins in that
Well,
fight?
Probably the red
was
shirts
that
because
an
stormtroopers can't aim.
Can't aim, but
is
Exactly.
it like an
but they're
infinite?
always dying.
Isn't
So
it
it's like, it's like kind
I'm
of weird.
wondering
Okay,
if
maybe
that's like
they'll
one of those
die from
infinity
ricochet
no
bullets.
death loops, though.
Yeah.
You know, they're just
I
going to
mean,
keep going. You know, is they're going to keep missing, and then they're going to be like waiting to die, and it's just never going to happen. It's going to be a weird
Mr.
bang
Meeseeks
shot.
is off in the
Finally,
corner, like, please let me go, let it finish. Oh boy, yeah, I'm in all sorts of different kinds of things. Oh god, but my childhood included things like Voltron, GI Joe, He-Man. My kid sister, who's 11 years younger than I am, was into all sorts of kind of cool things in the early 90s. Didn't realize until 5 years ago that she loved the Power Rangers until I was literally sitting next to.
All of us love the Power Rangers.
I didn't know. I never saw it or watched the show. So here I am, my very first convention ever working one. And I'm sitting next to Austin St. John because the person that was supposed to be helping him out that weekend didn't show up. I'm like, okay. So I'm sitting here. The guy's cool. He's an awesome person to work with. And so when I got a little break and I texted my sister, like, guess who I'm sitting next to? And she's like, who? I gave the name, like, oh my gosh, I thought she passed out with the phone in her hand. I'm like, I didn't understand. And the real kicker is that I like you, Austin, you're awesome, but sorry, Voltron would not stand there for half an hour yelling at an enemy and having a conversation, blowing up a town, and then decide, oh, well, maybe I'll just kill you now. No, we just get a little angry, pull out a sword, and then it's all said and done.
You just don't understand.
Fandoms are kind of like that, though, right?
yeah.
It's
That's how I am with baseball players. I try not to geek out too hard now that I'm interviewing them for my other podcast. So it's like, oh my god, I got this guy on my show. So,
yeah.
If I ever got to
you got that moment out of that.
If I ever got to meet people like Bruce Campbell or Ken Foray, see, my main fandom, the thing I really geek out about are zombie movies. Doesn't matter if they're good, bad, the worse, the better. Oh my god, you can laugh at it. Oh Jesus. George Romero is the man. As far as I'm concerned, he created the last golden era monster creature, which was the flesh-eating ghoul. Night of the Living Dead, those creatures are never related to as zombies. That came later. They're called flesh-eating ghouls. So, yeah.
That's the Evil Dead movies. They're not zombies.
Yes.
They're just, I don't
No,
know.
they're possessed. No, they're possessed by a Kandarian demon that likes to play games with you before they kill you.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. But again, Bruce Campbell, very underrated actor, very underrated. He's the man.
He's up there somewhere. I can't remember where, but he's up there.
Oh no! I mean, the whole hand gone bad. When his hand goes bad in the second movie, that whole sequence, he did that. That was him throwing himself all over the place and flipping the whole 9 yards. That was no CGI or stuntman person. Oh no! Just paint my hand and let's go. You know.
I don't think people understand the amount of acting that actually has to go into that to kick your own ass. You know, I always think of Jim Carrey as the best person kicking his own ass. Liar, liar.
I love Liar, Liar.
Imagine a movie with Jim Carrey and Robin Williams in it. All you have to do is have him show up and say go. I don't even know what this movie's about. Doesn't matter. Just go. And then it'd be like an hour and a half, about 4 hours, probably 80 hours of stuff taped. Melded down to 2 hours of just pure comedy gold. They may not like each other afterwards, but who cares? It'd be like, oh my god, that's like one of the top 3 best comedic films ever done. And all it is, like,
I think you might have just summarized how the movie Caddyshack actually did get filmed, because apparently the original movie about Caddyshack actually was like scripted, was not like even 2/3 of what they ended up with at the end of the movie, because Harold Ramis had so much fun goofing around with all these people on the show. And then they're like, hey, don't forget, you got to put a puppet in it. And then, hey, you have Bill Murray and Chevy Chase. Make sure you slam them together at some point in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
They kill each other. Don't worry about it. No big deal.
What's even better?
And probably just let Rodney Dangerfield go and do
Yeah,
whatever.
do whatever. Rodney, do whatever. We're here.
Yeah. I mean, I can see you got the wheels turning. It's your turn to talk for 5 seconds.
No, I was actually going to go. I want to circle back to the Supernatural, because I was never really a fan, but my daughter, who's 24 now, we actually took her and a friend to a Supernatural convention that was in DC. And she was a huge fan, and they had the stars there and everything, and it was at the hotel that we were staying at. So it was just like, okay, well, you guys can go and do your thing and whatnot. But yeah, no, I just the whole Supernatural thing. They had there was a band that they had there that was actually comprised of at least one of the actors. I think it's.
I wonder if it was Jensen Ackles' band.
If it's called Loudon Swain, I think the name is the band
no,
is.
That's not his. But I know a couple of the other actors I know play instruments. So, but yeah, no, his is Radio something. I think I can't remember exactly.
Okay. Yeah. No, it just reminded me. I was like that fandom. But then you bring up zombie movies. I used to be really big into zombie movies. And fun fact, in the series The Walking Dead, they never use the term zombie. They never use the name zombie, because in that universe, that word does not exist. So that's why they always have different names for the zombies. They have walkers and biters.
That comes from the source material, the comic book. And the original, and one of the writers, well, they're just going to call them something generic, and that was it. Then they got the idea as they're writing the first couple of issues of the comic that, well, we got groups of people that are now kind of like disconnected and kind of shut off, and there's distance between these groups, the different groups of people. So they'd probably call these things something slightly different than people down in Philadelphia would call them something different than, say, somebody in Pittsburgh, right? So and throughout the comic book series, they never use the word zombie. And I think that's one of the things that translated over the pre-Scott Gimple days that actually transferred over to the TV show.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
If they were in Boston, they'd be Wakas.
Waka.
And why am I getting this the character from the Waterboy moment, like whatever it means,
Louisiana?
In Louisiana, down on the bayou.
The Cajun Creepers or something kind of interesting, but yeah, no. Oh man, if you want to check out a really bad movie, there, Tommy. Zombie 3. Seriously, it is 3. Zombie 3. That zombie with an eye. Yes, it was a mid-'80s flick. The guy that, let's see. Romero, when he shot Dawn of the Dead, he sold the European production right, the distribution rights to his, filmmaking buddy, Mr. Argento. Then he went and made his own cut of Dawn of the Dead that was shown only in Europe, which is more of an action sequence type of a film than what was shown over here. And the music, I don't know why the hell Romero liked the original theatrical cut. He did not like the other cuts. I hate the original theatrical cut because it's late 70s, and it seemed like to be a late 70s thing where they have the music always on, even when characters are talking to each other. So you kind of can't really know what's kind of going on. We had this crazy music going on. Anyway,
and it was 70s music. It was offbeat too. For the moment that was on hand, at least anyway, right? The European cut Zombie is up in the ether, and if I remember correctly, somebody else came in and was going to make a Zombie 2 and a Zombie 3. Well, by the time it came time around to make Zombie 3,
Well, the director didn't want to do it, so he just let his two sub-directors go shoot all these different things. They came back to this movie together, and you could tell that this film was shot by two different people because some scenes made no sense. Some of the cinematography made no sense. Oh, and it's the only horror film I've ever experienced where when you hear the happy-go-lucky music, that's when bad things start happening. usually, and it's a thing. Sound is a major thing in film, so
appropriate soundtrack.
And this was shot in 1985, so
things a few times, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was shot in '85, so you got that kind of in that same sweet spot of say like the second season of Miami Vice, right? Okay, so it's like, wait a minute here. Now in horror, you always have a sound effect or a song or something building up to something nasty happening. In this film, no, it was always like, wait a minute, why is it all such action like karate chop shit? What the hell is this? Oh, okay, that makes perfect sense. And then you see zombie bats with the strings, like, oh my god, this is gold. This is gold. I need to show people this film because this is just okay. This is gold. It's like, oh man. But yeah, no.
So forward here in time because one of my favorite before the zombie thing got like almost too overplayed in the last like 10 years, Walking Dead obviously became what it was, but one of the last like good zombie movies that was like, oh my god, this blew my brain is I loved the Shaun of the Dead movie. That was like, oh my god, this is what would happen if normal people are in a zombie movie all of a sudden, and then they just happen to be hanging out in a British pub. It was like spot on. That was one of my faves.
Well, Romero put out two good zombie films came out in '85. One was Return of the Living Dead, which was written by John Russo, who also helped write Night of the Living Dead. And then Romero put out his Day of the Dead, which, by the way, is the 40th anniversary of that film. Day of the Dead was not what really people wanted. They wanted like a Dawn of the Dead 2, and that's not what they got. So the film kind of tanked the whole genre for about 15 or so years. You had zombie movies that came out in between, but they're generally films that were like not trying to do anything serious. Some of them were even just bad comedies. It was like, okay, it wasn't really until the Resident Evil movie came out where there was one of the few video game adaptation films, by the way, that actually is pretty damn good, well written. They're like, oh, okay, we can make money off of dead people again. So that's how films like Shaun of the Dead got made, was because all of a sudden, we'll give you $2-3 million, go shoot this, and you can make me $100 million back. Okay, cool, we'll do that.
Right on you.
We also got Zombieland and Warm Bodies.
Warm Bodies, yes. I mean, those films just don't happen without Resident Evil 1. Now, the other Resident Evil movies, okay, well, they're just okay. They're their own thing, but the original one, like, okay, well, the main monster is carnivorous dead people.
And we made at the end of the day. The other ones are more action at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, I mean, made more. Man, made a ton of money, and of course, in Hollywood, when something makes a ton of money,
make more.
There's going to be another one, even if we don't want it. We'll just shove it right out there because it made money before.
So let me circle back to some collecting, because now we're talking strictly zombies and stuff. I'm like, wait a minute here.
I know that's what talking about collecting another time. I get it.
Gotta have some fun.
So let me ask you about the store a little bit, because I know that you guys were talking about baseball cards and card collecting and everything. And the one thing that I'm not much of a card collector, and but you guys have a ton of vintage toys. You have a lot of carded figures, carded items. Like you have, the last time we were there, which was at the last toy fair, at least that was the last time I was there. You had the like 1/12 scale, like the big one of the First Order TIE Fighter that came with the 6-inch pilot and everything. And I was like, oh my God, if I had the money, I'd buy that right now. And I think you guys had it listed at $75. I could be wrong. Now, when you mark things in there, because I know that a lot of these you picked up from maybe other vendors or from your own collections and stuff, and when you put a price on that, is that price firm, or is that a price that you're willing to negotiate, like when you're at like a toy fair where you can haggle a little bit? Are you firm on your prices?
Usually I'm able to negotiate. The only time I can't usually is like for unopened boxes of sports cards or non-sports cards if I bought them direct, or if it happens to be an item that I paid almost retail for just because it was that awesome that I had to have it. But other than that, as long as it's a reasonable offer and I'm still making some money, I'm willing to listen to negotiations.
Did you tell them about the Millennium Falcon?
Oh, the original one?
The original, in the box.
The original Millennium Falcon in the original box. All there. The training ball and the arm is there too.
From the 80s?
I think it might be from the 70s, the 77 one.
Tommy's over here like, oh my God, get it?
Yeah. We used to actually have 2 in the box complete, but we sold the other one, and then we also used to have a complete in the box with the Dianoga, and the foam pieces were still good. The Death Star playset in the box. Yeah.
Well, that's gonna be the fun part. You don't know what's gonna come into your your shop every day. Somebody could bring in something. Hey, I'm trying to offload these toys. You find the random, like you said, the play box of baseball cards. You find a Yogi Berra. There's some fun to that point that it's not just your fandoms coming in and out of the door, but there's all these wonderful things that I'm sure your dad, you, and everybody in the family have seen come through the stores over the years, right?
Oh yeah, a couple years before he passed away, we had a really nice Star Wars collection come in, which actually had the Death Star playset and the Millennium Falcon in it, because we actually got some boxed 12-inch figures original. I think we might have had a couple original carded ones. There was a lot of original loose figures. I mean, it's stuff that I think we even at that time, I think we got in one of the blue Snaggletooths, which a friend of mine bought. So it was just like, I mean, I love Star Wars. I don't collect everything because I can't afford it. But to me, I love Star Wars and Star Trek, but for me, Star Wars is so much better. But oh my God, just looking at this stuff, I'm just like, oh my God, this is awesome. Because I actually have some of the original figures, not carded. I want to get at least one carded at some point, probably Yoda, but I have them complete. I have Yoda, think with the orange snake. I have complete Wicket because he's my favorite Ewok. There's a couple other ones I have. I actually have an original Tauntaun with a split belly, which is harder to find.
I still can't believe they made that playset. It's hilarious they did. I love that they did, but
because we had cool toys.
That's one of the best scenes from the movies. Are and I thought they smelled bad on the outside.
So I got to ask you then, with your fandom of Star Wars though. So if you're a big Star Wars, have you been to Disney's Galaxy's Edge?
No, I really want to go. I actually was talking about going with a friend of mine because he loves Star Wars just as much, if not more than I do. And he kind of sucks because I think he was old enough to actually go see them in the theater. Because I've seen all the other ones in the theater, but I so badly want to see the original 3, but I want to see them in the original. I don't want to see the added stuff. I want to see just original. So bad we love to see those in the theater.
You want to see
the only way you're going to find that is some bootleg somewhere, maybe on YouTube, but you're probably not going to ever see it released by Disney.
Yeah,
or before that Lucas himself, because
So there's the biggest thing though on that whole thing. Disney will want to make money if they can find it. They will probably put it out at some point, but they're going to make it some point where it's a big deal and it's got to be they'll turn it into an event if they're going to do it. But that's what they do with everything. So
please bring back
just ruin it.
Old man Anakin's Jedi Force Ghost.
Yeah,
the original guy. I mean, he was only in the film for maybe 10 minutes, and he took away 8 of it. It's why?
I mean, well, it's kind of I like that better. I mean, seeing young Anakin, that was kind of cool. But no, I want it pure the way it was, because even the song during the Ewok celebration is different. I'm no, put it back the way it was.
No more yub nub.
No more no. Yep.
So
Yeah.
I will say this: if and when you go, I'm going to tell you the kid in you, the 8-year-old, whatever. When you first discovered Star Wars and you first loved Star Wars, you walk through that tunnel and you are transported to basically Star Wars. The attention to detail is by far just amazing. You are in Star Wars, and I would say spend the money, do the lightsaber build your own lightsaber. As a matter of fact, I have my hilt that I built.
That's awesome.
And
cool.
and
You look like you're an old Republic guy with that thing, bud.
well, that was but that's the protection and defense one, which is considered I wanted something that was kind of medieval looking, so that's what I built.
Nice.
But also do the droid build as well. You know what? Do it for everything that you possibly can do it for, and then make sure you get an opportunity to get on Rise of the Resistance, because that ride you are pretty much in a movie at that point.
Oh, wow.
I can't say enough about this. When I went
I
there,
still
I got a
haven't went yet
tear in my
either.
eye, and I was just like, I was 8-year-old Tommy all over again. And it was just like, I wanted everything, because it was just like, oh. But I don't know if you can see, but let me see if I can bring it just a little bit this way. I actually I have my lightsaber hilts.
Oh, wow.
And I got Luke's Jedi, and then I got Count Dooku's Jedi and his Sith. So yeah.
That's cool.
Nice.
But yeah. So I highly suggest if you go, and I think you should do, and then obviously drink the blue milk.
Oh yeah, that you have to
Just not the green
blue
stuff,
milk
not
if
the
you
green
go.
stuff, though, right?
That's
Not the
what,
green.
that's
Right.
what you have to.
That's got sequel trilogy on it. Don't touch it.
No, that's just liquid. That's like liquid depression. No.
So I have to ask: do you still have that First Order TIE fighter?
I'm
pretty
pretty sure it's still there. Not 100%, but I'm pretty sure it's still there.
Okay, if it's still there, and if it's still at the price that I think it is, I'll see you in
He's on his way.
December.
Hey, you guys are welcome by the store at any time, man. I mean, just come and
I go over
shoot
it
the
once
shuttle
in
a
a
little
while.
bit. I mean,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. The delay, man. The delay.
I know.
Yeah. So let's just talk fandom last here as we before we let you all do our shameless self-promoting bit for yourselves here at the end of the show, because that's always the key at the end of the show. And so if you were able to have that one thing that you were able to find in your fandom, bring it home with you. Maybe it's something you've seen in the store, maybe it's something that you've been hunting, that one collectible that's like, there you got your holy grail, whatever it might be. Emily, is there something that's in your, fandom that you've been just dying to have for your entirety of your essence, that you was like, there's the thing?
Yes, there's actually two now. First one would definitely be Judy Garland autograph. And second one would be an L. Frank Baum autograph.
And you want Shirtless Joe's shoes?
No, I'm good with those two things.
Okay.
He ain't wearing it.
Shirtless Joe's shoes. I mean, come on now. That'd be kind of cool, actually.
I don't think he wore shoes, so how would he have shoes? There's a reason for the nickname, sweetie.
Well, when you went out, to have a beer, I bet you had shoes on.
That's why Lou Gehrig's nickname is Tanglefoot, because he tripped on bats, and I think his future wife nicknamed him Tanglefoot.
What was Ty Cobb's nickname? Oh, wait a minute. I don't think we can
we can't say that. Well, Georgia, they did call him Georgia Peach, even though he was not very nice.
I think a-hole probably is a term.
Tommy Lee Jones like a jerk. Just saying.
This show has gone in so many different directions. I love it. I love it.
That's the fun of it. So, how about you, Jason? What is there something that? He's got his. It looks like not off the presses.
I already got mine.
Oh yes, I had many different things when I was a kid. But
Oh, there
Fully
you go.
complete.
Cobra Rattler.
Fully complete with all the parts.
Oh,
Yes.
that's a 3 3/4 inch one.
Yep. With the
So I'm
original
assuming you
pilot.
didn't buy or go into the HasLab and get the 6-inch version one, the 112 scale.
Monster.
No.
That
And this
one's
was a
like
wonderful,
400
awesome gift
bucks.
from Miss Emily, by the way.
That's
That's a
awesome.
good toy show.
Yes. Yeah. Just
Nice.
now the funny thing is, but before the last toy show opened, we went walking around just to kind of see what the other vendors were doing. And while one guy had one that's about 80% complete, I'm like, okay, well, it was a decent price, so she picked it up. At the end of the toy show, I went wandering around to go looking for some more things for our shop. And then I'm literally sitting on a table. We could have put a spotlight on, like, and I'm like, and the gentleman who sold it to me said that it's 100% complete. And I took it even has the parts that usually fall off of these things, which are the landing gear. These are always the one I owned when I was a kid. Literally had it out of the box in not even 5 minutes, and the left landing gear popped right off. Could never get it back on. It was
Do you got a Sky Striker to go with that?
no. And the Sky Striker is awesome, but it's actually about a third bigger than that. And I'm trying to figure out the problem with collecting things is you run out of space really quick.
Yeah.
Where am I putting my
I know what you
thing?
mean.
Yeah.
My wife is on me, and I'm going to be moving my studio. I'm going to be moving the podcast studio down into my basement because I'm going to put up some acoustic panels up so I can do some other voice acting work.
Oh, nice.
But I think my holy grail, and we've talked about this when we first started this show, is the aircraft carrier, the USS Flag. That 100% complete has to be, But
as someone who had that as a kid, it looks like it's fully stable enough that two people can pick it up and move it.
It's not.
It's an all an illusion. I just took the thing completely apart into 20 million pieces that could take a half hour, 40 minutes or more, and then figure out a spot where you want it, and then put it back together. Yeah. But once you have a perfect spot for it, and you got a couple of things to put on top of it, golden. That's one of the things that I lost from my childhood, which I still had. But
I offered to try to find it. You said, "Where am I going to put it?" I'm like,
the thing's 7.5 feet long. Where am I putting it?
I just buy things. You got to figure that part.
I mean, that's yeah, I know. I appreciate it, dear, but again, until I win the lottery and I have a mansion.
This is one of those things somebody has to make some kind of amount that thing can end up on a wall now. And you put the parts down on it. There's a 3D printer I have right here. I've done some really weird stuff with the Legos in this office to be able to make it look like they're fighting in space.
There is a Facebook Reel video that's been kicking around for the last 2 years. Somebody somehow managed to build up that thing, make it floatable. He has it floating in his pool.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out. Wait a minute, that thing never really had a bottom. How the?
At the bottom.
That guy.
Does the flag bring me beer then? Because that'd be spectacular. I'd be like the best merge of my childhood and my adulthood right there. It's like
there you go. I mean,
I want to say I know who that person is because I actually bought something from them. They have like an online store, so I've had an interaction with that person. So yeah,
that is sweet.
Yeah, because I'm very specific with my collecting now because I go through phases and the characters and stuff like that. Like I have the Crimson Stripe team and the 6-inch figures, but then I also made like 2 complete forces for the Crimson Stripe team. So I had to buy a couple of Crimson Alley Vipers just to make sure I had everything, but that's neither here nor there.
That's like turning old school G.I. Joe into Warhammer 50K. You want to talk about a money rabbit hole? Warhammer, baby. There you go. That's
this is like baseball cards.
We'll have to have you on when we talk about survival horror games with my daughter when she comes on because we're going to be doing survival horror game night.
Oh, that'd be sweet. I would definitely,
Yeah, Tommy, I think it's funny you went to the flag because if I was going to pick a toy that I was going to get, I can't fit it anywhere, and it's just how big it is,
it's
as
big.
Tommy knows, and I think Emily's gotten this from my shopping history lately in the store. I'm a giant Transformers nerd, so
There you go.
it's the only fandom of things that we've talked about tonight that outside of GI Joe that probably isn't stolen and owned by Disney at this point. So,
hey, if you have an original Megatron, if you have an original Megatron, you are cool.
I wish I did because
that's
the only one that's
the only original.
Somehow is the size of a semi truck. Don't worry about it.
Every other Transformer transformed into a vehicle, but for some reason, Megatron had to transform into a silenced assault weapon. Who the heck was doing what in the boardroom? They thought this was a good idea.
Yeah,
I mean, again, this is the early 80s.
Yeah,
this is the early 80s where you can get away with such things. It's like,
so a few years ago, HasLab, to your point, Tommy, they made a full-size Unicron that was the scale of the regular action figure that's about 8 or 9 inches or so, which it was meant to be the size of a planet. Obviously, it's the 8th planet. They had made a toy that was based off of the 8-inch, 10-inch scale, basically blown up. It would take up. It's almost as tall as I am physically.
Oh yeah.
And I'm about 5'9", so. But
so you just roll it to get it from one place to another.
Scene, like I have on a wall, when I have him at the center of it, all of them like attacking after him, like it's the 1980s movie. So that's cool. That's mine.
Well, then you definitely would have the touch.
Well, I have a really good friend who has almost every single original Transformer in box.
God.
He's been collecting since he was a kid. He has all of them. He's bought HasLab stuff. He's bought third-party stuff. He's got a crap ton of Transformers.
Yeah, but that's why we collect. That's the passion and the fun of it right now.
Exactly
One of my buddies,
I think honestly why I collect
Star Wars collection put his daughter through college. Just saying.
Wow. Yeah.
And now he just does what I do, or even to that point, it sounds like the rest of us do. You pepper in what you like here and there. Like my room here that I record in is literally just that escape that I come in here, and it's like, even though this is my office, where it's like my part of my wood shop, I 3D print in here and everything. I come in here and I just like, all right, I can work in here.
Yeah,
there's just so much fun stuff in there.
I also think the reason why collecting is such a thing, at least for me, is you're not collect most of the objects. Let's face it, most of the objects that we collect, that we put money into, they have really no real practical purpose. I mean, you can't make something out of it. You can't cook something off of it. You can't, they're not going to help you survive in a survival situation.
Injected molded plastic.
Yeah, basically, but every one of these objects also, but mainly has a memory attached to it. You remember something that makes that thing special. With me, the reason why the Cobra Rattler was a big thing for me is because it was a birthday, an unexpected birthday gift from my mom. So every object I have in my apartment, oh my God, there are a lot of objects. Each one has a story attached to it. Sometimes some of them quite nefarious, I might add. So when I go to collect something, I'm like, okay, do I need to eat? Can I eat this? No. Can this keep me alive? No. But I remember that one time me and my best friend went out to that bar and we saw this in a window. So yes, I got to have it on my, on a shelf somewhere. Or, oh my God, this thing is so weird and messed up. I got to have it. The WTF factor is so high,
Yeah, that's like his saying. If he had one, that would be his saying.
I mean, it's, I think her shop is basically just that. It's a collection of memories, and people have come on through, get to, like, oh, I remember when I had this. I remember when my grandmother got me this as a gift, or I remember when I got these cars from my granddad, and it's the memories that are attached to these things that make them special, really.
As Craig has said before, it transports you back to a simpler time. I mean, as a middle-aged man, I know it sounds ridiculous, and people some people like to make fun of people that collect things from their childhood. But honestly, again, it brings you back to a time before you had to deal with bills and life and just, everything. For just a split second, you could just be that kid again. That's why I'm saying go to Galaxy's Edge and be a kid. Just be a kid. Be Star Wars.
I know I'll have to because
Or the
I
point
like
of this show,
The Force.
Yeah.
go to the Yankee Clipper and enjoy yourself.
I'm still a big kid at heart, and honestly, I think every adult should have some of that in there. I think we'd all be a lot happier.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
100%.
we have something to talk about. I mean, what's a great combination? All this stuff in my apartment, all this stuff in your little man caves there. Those are great conversation starters.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
By the way, go Bills.
Go Bills.
Really go Bills. Yeah. Anyway,
No, we're good. We're just at that hour, and I want to make sure
Yeah,
we
I know.
start wrapping
Yeah.
up a little bit. And I want to make sure you get your chance for the two of you to talk about the store. And like I said, let's just wrap this up with your shameless self-promoting bit. Talk about anything you want, what's in the store, how to find you, all those kind of things. So everybody listening to the show tonight will be able to obviously go for it and find you. Because like I said, we've always have a great time talking with you. We love the shop. I know we should be more very frequent visitors than we are just at the Village Gate Toy Show, but we're gonna fix that.
Hey,
So
the doors are always open, man. I mean, come and hang out.
We appreciate that. We definitely appreciate that.
So
We are inside the Village Gate Square Mall on North Goodman Street, first floor, more towards the front of the building. We are open Wednesday through Saturday, 11 to 5. And I would say it'd be a good idea to follow us on Facebook, because if I'm going to have different hours or close for whatever reason, especially during the winter, I will have it always posted up there. We have baseball, football, basketball cards. We have different non-sports Pokemon cards. We have action figures, Hot Wheels, Star Wars, Star Trek. We even Lorcana cards. We have like Barbie stuff. We have Lego figures. We might have some Lego sets left. We have Funko Pops. We have wrestling figures. It's Transformers. It goes on and on and on. We have so much stuff, and we are willing to, like I said earlier, willing to negotiate on pricing if I can. I am looking to buy stuff. I also trade stuff. So definitely
I'm selling.
Okay.
I thought you were just saying you were going to trade yourself there for a second, bud.
We'll make sure we get a nice fair price for you. Okay, we'll try to. We won't try to cheat you. Okay. Oh gosh. Oh, shameless plug.
Yeah.
Well, please come to the shop. We're lonely. We need friends. We need a lot of friends, please. Even just come in for a few moments and see some of the cool things that we got going on. I mean, we have literally, it's a wide smorgasbord of a little bit of everything. And it's going to be very hard pressed to find anybody that walks in our doors and to find something that's interesting to them.
Exactly.
I know you guys. I know you guys got everything. You guys got everything in there.
We are in the process.
As a matter of fact, I bought my old man Venkman from the latest Ghostbusters, not Frozen Empire, but the one before that, Afterlife. So I think that was from the first time that we went last December is when I picked that up.
I think so, because we had more time to talk to you. The last toy show, we were so busy, we kind of had a high and a bye thing.
Hey, what's up? Okay, cool. Okay, money.
But all I'm hearing is we didn't get enough stories tonight, so we're gonna have to make sure we have the both of you back on again. It was great. I hope you two had a wonderful time talking all things collecting in your shop.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Tonight.
Anytime you want to talk collecting, we're right here. My casa is two casa.
Or baseball stories, because I have stories from my dad of meeting different baseball players, so I got that too. So
even better.
Nice.
So we will definitely take advantage of those stories and have some more fun here on the podcast. Feel free to hang out for a minute after we go off the air here if you two want to. So Tommy, is there anything you want to make sure you chit chat on before we wrap up this evening?
Well, let's see. So I am going to be out of the country for the next 2 weeks, but I will say I will definitely try to be available for next Sunday. May not be able to, but anyways, coming up in June 13th at the Genesee Country Village and Museum, there is a after hours event. All 21 and over. It is called History on Tap. It's where you can go and taste at the museum. And I will be there actually teaching some of the audience members how to do some 19th century dances. So if you are interested, you don't have to drink, but if you are interested in coming to History on Tap, which is a after hours event for 21 and over at the Genesee Country Village and Museum, go to their site, gcv.org, and go to their events page and see them and get your tickets now. Other than that, June 20th and 21st of also at the Genesee Country Village and Museum is the Celtic Fair. So the Celtic Fair is obviously all things Celtic, Irish, Scottish, whatever, what have you. But I and the Flint Hill Dance Troupe will be performing and doing audience participation, and you'll get to see yours truly in a kilt because I have my kilt.
Authentic? Will it be authentic?
No, it is a family. It is a family event.
Oh, well, I'm just gotta ask these things, you know. I'm curiosity, seeing what it is.
But that's all I got for you. So, but yeah, please, again, and I said this before, support your local businesses like the Yankee Clipper. Support your museums and support your local arts, your theaters, galleries, everything. Just keep your money local and support support history and support the arts. That's it.
Good deal.
Your money is what keeps these places open. So, I mean,
there you go.
I mean, our shop's been around since '84. That's a long time. A lot of history's happened in those in those 40 plus years. So
that's as long as one Craig.
Yeah. Well, now a measurement. That's cool. Okay. Wow. I'm like 1.2 Craigs. Oh, that's awesome. Hey, I just turned 49, so yeah.
So hit it, Craig. What do you got going?
Go Bills.
So if you happen to be listening to my other podcast, the Jay Bird Watching Podcast for all things Toronto Blue Jays baseball, make sure you tune in on the 28th. And we're going to have our first rock star on the show. We are actually going to have Shane Told, the lead singer of the band Silverstein. They're celebrating their 25th anniversary this year in recording rock music, and your emo screaming is what he calls it. But Shane Told is going to be on the show talking all things, funny enough, obviously rock and roll, but he is a monster Blue Jays fan as well. So he's going to come on the show, and we're going to talk Toronto Blue Jays baseball with a rock star on the 28th. So make sure you come and join us for that. And obviously, we're going to replay a lot of that on here, too, because why not? It's fandom as much as anything else. So, but Emily, Jason, I cannot say enough good things about having you on the show again. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure having both of you and talking
very much.
Thank you.
Good deal. Thanks,
Definitely
everybody.
do this again.
Greatly appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. We greatly appreciate y'all having a good time with us. Get some more of those in the chats. We only saw some weird spam, I'll say, in the chat window this evening. Come on, there's no I know there's more people out there when I'm seeing as many come into the tick clock as I've seen. So hit us up every week. We are here Sunday evenings, 8 o'clock Eastern time. And then wherever you get your podcasting pleasures from, make sure you listen to TNC Random Fandom. Until next week, cheers.
Good night, everybody.